Hello again, and welcome to At the Podium with Manuel Amezcua. As you all know, I'm a financial advocate, CEO, father, husband, and massive sports fan. We built this podcast to share the stories of the highest performers in my life. And what we do is we convert those into micro lessons that hopefully can help fuel you as you attack your hopes and dreams. Folks, today my guest is the one and only number 7 Donovan Edwards, running back, Michigan Wolverines, national champion. I loved hearing Donovan talking about how the warrior is raised through hardship, losing his mother at the age of 2, being raised in a single parent home by his father, Kevin. Tremendous significance in his life, tremendous sacrifice made by Mr. Edwards. Donovan talks about what it's like now to come back after winning a national championship, losing his head football coach, being excited about the new regime led and anchored down by the one and only Sharon Moore. He talks about wanting to be a great teammate, a great servant leader, what it looks like to stack days that eventually turn into stacking wins that eventually gives them another run at the national championship. Man, I hope you enjoy this incredible young man who's super talented, super funny, and just an absolute joy to be around. Donovan Edwards. Man, he's larger than life. He just got announced as the cover on EA Sports after the 11-year hiatus. My man, Donovan Edwards, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Man, what a gift it's been. I know we've been back and forth for a few months, and I want to give a shout out to Morgan.
Yes, sir.
Because without Morgan being the conduit, this wouldn't have happened today. So big shout out to Morgan, multi-sport athlete, superstar herself. Thanks for being in the studio today. I find that as I've learned more about your story, there's just so much more than just football. So I want to go back into your childhood, being born of Kevin and the late Donna Edwards. I thought of this quote. John Eldredge said, "God raises the warrior through hardship." Can you share with our listeners a little bit about your childhood and that story?
Yeah, that's why I'm smiling, because I couldn't agree more. I think that God most definitely gives his the toughest battle to his strongest soldiers, and the people who go through the most, who aren't shying away from the adversity, are going to be the most successful people, and they're never going to turn their ways away from God as well. Especially like if everything starts going their way, like they're going to remember the lows and as well the highs in their life as well. And we're going to touch more. We're going to touch more on that. You know what I'm saying, as this podcast continues, as we're going. But I completely agree on that statement. I was born in Southfield, raised in Detroit. I grew up in Detroit. My mom died when I was 2 years old with breast cancer, and my brother was 5. So my dad moved us out to West Bloomfield because that was really kind of my mom's dream. She wanted us to go to West Bloomfield and really get out of Detroit, get a better education, go to church every Sunday. And, that's what my dad wanted to fulfill for 2 kids, that now he had to raise on his own. And, I salute him tremendously because especially as a black father, raising 2 kids on his own is really a struggle, and it's really hard. And he had to work multiple jobs, and his stress level started to get higher, just because he had to work was stressing him out. And me and my brother, we were real bad kids. I wouldn't say we weren't misled, but we were just missing that factor of like, a mother's love in our life. And, our father, he always had the discipline factor. And, as we continue to get older, he showed us more of the feminine love as well. And he had to play both roles. So that's just a little bit of my upbringing.
I really appreciate the fact that you take a second to recognize the significance and sacrifice that your father lived day in and day out as a single parent, as a black man, as someone wanting to raise warriors.
Yeah.
And that he did.
Yeah.
Right? That he did. Talk to me. You get into high school. I already gave you your flowers. I told you we had just moved here from Chicago, and we land in Bloomfield, and all we hear about is how West Bloomfield is the only place to play.
That's right.
And that's where you ran.
Yeah.
And talk to us about what it was like to play in that locker room with Coach Ron Bellamy.
Everything that I've learned from Coach Bellamy in high school, it all translates in college now, especially him being a Michigan Wolverine himself. The program that he created at West Bloomfield is basically the exact same thing in West Bloomfield as well. It's all about you got to go to class, you got to get good grades, and all of that's just going to translate onto the field. Like all the hard work that you do, especially if you don't want to do it. Of course, we don't want to go to class, we don't want to do our schoolwork, but like when we do it, it's just gonna make us better football players and even better men. So, just for my West Bloomfield experience and as well being at Michigan as well, it translates perfectly. Just because like Coach Bell, I'm glad that I've been able to be around him for the past 4 years here in Michigan as well, because he's been a mentor, a big brother, an uncle to me. Whenever like something's going on with me, I'm able to like just call him, and he's always there for me. And the thing there is that what he taught me when I was growing up, especially like just before coming to college, is that he wanted me to be a better man than a better football player. So, and that's what I'm becoming now at Michigan as well. Mm-hmm. It started with him.
Can you share with our listeners a little bit of what that decision-making process was like to end up at Michigan? And let me say, I say that because coming out as a 5-star recruit, being really top 2 at your position in the country, right? Top 35 ranked overall football player coming into the NCAA level. You had every school knocking on your door, filling your mailbox, ringing your phone.
That's right.
What was it like? What was it like to go through that? And how did you and your father and your family make the decision that, hey, you're a Michigan man?
Yeah. So honestly, ultimately, the decision was on mine. Mm-hmm. So I'd say another step forward, I could have went to the draft this year. I had, especially my dad.
And we're going to talk about that.
I'm going to throw him under the bus here. He told me, like, he thought I should go to the NFL. I'm like, hold on now. Like, this is my decision. You had no influence on me when I said I went to go to Michigan. So I'm going to make my decision to come back another year, based off of me. Right. Yes. But anyways, my ultimate, the reason like why I chose Michigan was, I think it was what God wanted for me. My ambition is always to not go to a program to where, like it's already successful and it's already built. Michigan was 2-4 before we came in, like it just wasn't like the national championship, with all the bowl wins and the national championship wins that, that we all know what that it is. And, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to somewhere, where like I could just say, don't be a fan later, before we start winning. Like I'm telling you right now, we're going to win. And even if you believe me or not, if you don't hop on this train now, then don't hop on the train at all. So, and it was just God wanted me to go there, and just to, that's kind of what it came down to.
So we have a great following from young student athletes across the country. what were one or two of the things that really tipped it over for you over a school like a Notre Dame or a Georgia or other powerhouses, Oklahoma?
Yeah, and it's no knock to any of those schools. The thing that I wanted is I just wanted to be close to home. I don't want to be far from my dad or from my family, because all my family some of them are in Tennessee, but like my close people are in Michigan. I didn't want to be far from them. Later on we're going to talk about what other schools, blah blah blah, whatever. Anyways, though, but I just didn't want to go like away from home. So I was okay with going to like somewhere in the Midwest, but like somewhere in the South or in the on the West Coast just wasn't me. I'm a Midwest guy through and through. Like when it's snowing out, I'm gonna shovel the snow. You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of guy I am. Like palm trees, it's all it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But, I don't like it hot every day. I like a little bit of diverse in the weather. And whenever the weather just changes, you just never know what you're gonna get in Michigan. So I love that about Michigan.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that. I know that, in our home, we really like heading down south. We like the warmer weather.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable. But I always say to my wife, Samantha, I'm like, hey, I like the 4 seasons.
That's right.
I like the way that the chapter flips every 90 days,
Yeah.
So
how it's sunny right now, it might snow tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? 2 days after that, it might rain. You never know what you're going to get here.
Hey, for you folks that don't know what the Midwest is like, Donovan's absolutely right. It could snow this week.
It sure could. We in May. Right? Yeah. It could snow tomorrow.
So you end up in Michigan. And what an incredible run it was during the Coach Harbaugh regime.
Yeah.
What would you say, as a young man that was close to him and got to know him so well, what would you say are a few of the things that maybe people from the outside looking in don't know about Coach Harbaugh that really make him an incredible person to play for?
That's the thing. We ain't even talking about the coach. We're talking about the person.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you respect the coach more once he's done the same things that you are trying to do. The fact that he was a quarterback in Michigan, same place that we're at. The fact that he was a first-round draft pick somewhere that we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
You respect that, and you respect the things that he brings as a coach, just not being, like, mean all the time. Like, he would joke with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and him, we had such a type of relationship that we could joke, you know what I'm saying? We could show each other, you know what I'm saying, like, immense amount of love, the player and coach that are given to each other. And it's just the fact that he will call your parents, you know what I'm saying, like, just check on them.
Yeah.
He's a player's coach guy, so like, if something's not going right, like, he will want you to tell him, even if you might be afraid. I can understand why some people might be afraid to say something to him, but he would appreciate it, and then the same thing, like, the staff have a immense amount of respect for him too. So
yes, they do.
Like, it's hard to not love him,
Yeah.
And like, he has that on and off switch to where, like, like, he would joke, but then he would be so serious at the same time. So, like, I don't know, like, I hope he drafts me, basically.
Coach Harbaugh, you heard it. You heard it right now. He wants to be a Charger. Oh man, I love that. Is there something that you believe he consistently did, let's say, in the locker room?
Yeah.
Something he consistently did in the locker room that really set the tone at the top.
Yeah.
Playing underneath Coach Harbaugh.
Yeah. I would say that whatever he may say in the locker room, that not in the locker room, I apologize. Whatever he may say, like, in the meeting room, like, we're going to talk about in the locker room. It may be something hilarious that he says, or it may be something very serious that he says. It's like, man, it's either he's great, he's also about his business.
Yeah.
It's like a great story for me to tell, which my mans know. So we're in camp, and he's just, like, raving on about, like, what the season means to him. And we're like, this is fall camp, so, like, we're tired, you know what I'm saying? Like, Coach, we want to go home. We got meetings after this. You know, like he's talking, like he's so serious, just talking about like he will cut off an arm, you know, to like play again and to beat our rival teams. And one of my teammates is sleeping, and like he was like, "You sleep?" I'm not gonna say his name. He was like, "You sleep?" And he woke up. He was like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, "Wake up, like lock in, like I'm so serious." It's just going on and on. You know, and it's like, it's just stuff like that. It's like hilarious because it's like he's not gonna like kick you off the team or like you know what I'm saying, like curse you out in front of everybody. But he's also gonna challenge you, you know. And if you don't rise to the challenge, then probably not gonna play.
Yeah, I like the two examples you put into that response where you talked about the fact that he really can turn it on and off as he needs to.
It's kind of crazy.
But when he's all about business, he's all about business.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I inspire that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you just called it out. Coach Harbaugh, he expects to get drafted in the first round with your first pick in the 2025 NFL draft.
I ain't say all that. I gotta live up to what I gotta do this year, and then I'll make a phone call to him and be like, "Hey, what you gonna do, man?"
Yeah,
I could do that, but I have to hold up my end of the bargain first.
Well said. Well said. So the transition happened. Mm-hmm. Share with our listeners a little bit of what it was like when you learned that Coach Harbaugh would step into the position in the NFL, and that there was going to be a vacancy. Can you talk a little bit about that and what it was like before Coach Sharon Moore was announced?
Yeah, I think for me personally that I'm glad that. Not saying I'm glad that he made the decision that he's happy with, because he doesn't owe anybody anything. You know, he doesn't have to defend the title. He already won the title. You know what I'm saying? He has 3 Big Ten championships that he's won. You know, he's won a Rose Bowl. Like he doesn't owe anybody anything, right? So I'm glad that he's happy with his decision. And some people might be mad, but it's like, that's not your decision. Like, he's a grown man, and so are you. So, like, why are you going to sit here and be like, "Oh, I don't like him," because, like, you can't just sit here and be like, "I don't like him," just because, you know, like, he just left. Like, bro, he did what he had to do. Like, he was a fantastic coach. He should get a statue outside of Schembechler Hall, right next to Bo Schembechler. Like, he's changed the program around tremendously. So, I mean, there's really not much else that he could really do. You know, he's won everything. You know, he's beat the rivals.
Yeah.
He's won a championship. He's won a Big Ten championship. Like, you can't really ask for more, you know. But with Coach Moore, I think that the 4 games that he was our head coach is just a stepping stone for him and what his legacy is going to be here at Michigan. So, you know, I'm gonna be the best person that I could be and the best leader that I can be, you know, under him, you know, and everything that he says, I'm going to listen to, and I'm just going to echo into the players. I'm going to add my own spin to it, my own leadership as well. But, you know, I respect him tremendously. The guys respect him, but all he has to do is just keep on doing him. And as long as he does that, I don't think that we could fail.
Can we talk about leadership for a little bit?
Come on.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up, right? I mean, I understand through different interviews that I've listened to you speak on. I understand through our good mutual friend, Jake Bott. I understand that you've been on your own journey in life right now.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things I've loved listening to you touch on is the transition of leadership.
Yeah.
And, you know, Michigan, your teammates were the top drafted team into the NFL this year. Congratulations, right? You all contributed to that and created that success together. And in that, people were wondering, whoa, man, there's going to be a huge gap in leadership in the locker room. And yet I'm seeing guys like you, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Colston Loveland, and so many others just step right into it as if nothing has changed. Talk a little bit about what's going on inside your mind around leadership, how you want to show up for your teammates, and what these other guys are doing to fill that gap.
No doubt. So when it comes to leadership, I always think back to my junior year of high school. Like, I was trying to be a leader, but I was the wrong leader. Like, I was rude, mean, but the only reason why I was doing that is because I was just trying to challenge people. I wanted to bring the best out of them, it took me a whole year and for my teammates to not vote me as a captain to like, okay, I did something wrong here. Like, I'm not somebody that guys want to go to war with only because like I'm challenging them in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? I'm being a tyrant, like real mean. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't guard me, you suck. It's okay to say like you can't guard me, but like the you sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a you know what I'm saying? Just cussing at them, like, that's not okay. So I realized that, and I learned from that, and being able to learn from other guys and their leaderships, like Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Ross, learning from those guys, Andrew Vastardis, Hassan Haskins, Chris Jenkins, Mikey Sarenstill. I was able to look at them and see what really worked. And, you know, like, how can I, like, what kind of leadership skills that I have, that they have, that was able to work. And also my own spin of actually challenging people, you know, because this is a whole brand new team. There's guys that are in roles that were never in roles at Michigan before, and that's the same for myself for a whole year, right? So the thing for me is like I want to bring guys along. I want them to be better than they were today than they were yesterday, and continue to elevate and make it no drop off. But at the same time, I can't be rude and I can't be mean. Also, I have to give them negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement. It's like, come on, like, step it up. Like, we can do better than this. We can't keep losing to the defense. And as well, you know, like, when we're doing good against the defense, against our own team, you know, I could say, like, you know, I can't just sit there and say absolutely nothing and just, like, always go on the negative side. I have to be positive, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're looking good, boys, proud of you boys, and saying I love you guys, you know, and my main thing is putting guys in roles that, you know, that they're not comfortable with, but we need, you know, like challenging guys to become captains, to become leaders in their position groups, even if they're not the vocal person. You know, I realize that there's different types of leaderships. There's 6 different kinds that as well that I have to be able to put that mindset within them to be able to make this team good, to make this team great, you know, to make no drop off of last year, but make it a better team this year than it was last year. So, you know, that's the kind of leadership role that, you know, that my mindset is just a person that, you know, like you could lean on, but as well as I have to lean on you too. And I want you to be in a position to where, like, you're the ultimate leader. Like, that can be you as well. You're the alpha leader.
Yeah, I'm glad that you took us back to your high school years, right? I mean, think about that. It's been 5 years. So much has changed in who you are as a young man, as a steward, as a team captain, as a servant leader today, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'll tell you, I was thinking about, you know, when I first learned of Coach Sharon Moore. So as you know, some of the guys that I'm closest to played for him at Central Michigan when he was there on staff. Yeah. You know, behind you, TC, Tyler Conklin, you know, tight end number 1 for the New York Jets, played for Coach Sharon Moore. Loves this guy. Yeah. And I think about, well, man, what a 10-year journey he's been on.
Absolutely.
Right? And how much he's evolved and what he's become. I mean, you're talking about a young man, because he's still very, very young. Yeah. You know, he's going to be one of the top coaches in college football next year.
I don't disagree.
And what a beautiful story that is. Who are some of the other guys that you would say you look around at in the locker room today that have just completely transformed themselves in the last couple of years?
I would say Max Bredesen.
Oh,
I would say Makari Page.
Shout out, Max. He and I have been going back and forth with messaging, man.
No
Proud
doubt.
of you.
Yeah, I would say Rob Moore, Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Ernest Hausman, Miles Hinton.
Yeah, I love it.
Why am I missing someone? Who am I thinking of? C Love. There we go.
Yeah,
C Love.
Colson. Yeah, incredible.
Yep. And Khalil Mullins as well.
Okay.
Love what he's doing too.
Who would you say? I mean, you have some incredible coaches. Coach Sharon Moore, Tony Alfred. Man, what a mic drop pickup right there. Ron Bellamy. Who would you say in the locker room? In the locker room is pouring into the most on you guys around things like stewardship and being a team captain, a servant leader?
I say all the coaches.
Yeah.
I only speak for myself though, but like Coach Alfred has challenged me. He's challenged me a lot Freddie J, who was Coach Hart's, who was Mike Hart's position coach. He's challenged me, and Coach Bell as well. He just showed me the ropes. Like, he showed me what to do, and I mean, it's not much more he can say to me now, but like, I understand completely, of his viewpoints and like how he sees me, how he wants me to lead this team. So just kind of the offensive guys, Kirk Campbell, they all, like have spoken highly of me and, are continuing to challenge me to make this team a great team.
What are some of the things that you're doing off the field and outside the locker room to continue to evolve the man that Donovan Edwards is becoming?
All right, before I hit the charity stuff, I think for me it starts with like staying off our list. So like, we got people that check our class, and I say like open-heartedly, like, I hate going to school. I don't like it. I don't like going to class. But I also realize that in order to be a great leader, like, I have to do things that are required of other people to do, regardless if you're at the top of the pinnacle, if you rush for 2 touchdowns in the national championship, you have to do those exact same things of, like chasing excellence and doing the small things right, so then you have a voice to say like, hey bro, go to class. Like, if I go to class, why can't you go to class? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just those small things that allow me to, to be in a leadership role now, to get respect. Even though I don't like school, I don't like it. I don't like going.
What is your favorite class?
See, why you ask that? But I say I like history classes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like history classes.
What about history do you enjoy?
Just honestly, the fact that like you could see there's multiple things to it. You see like why we are where we are today. You know what I'm saying? You can learn from people. Thank you for saying that. You can learn from people in the past, like their mistakes, their flaws, or the great things that they've done, and their accomplishments. So, like, I like to study history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you said that. I often think there's so much perspective that we can get from seeing the micro wins and losses of the past.
100%. You see what works well, what doesn't work well, and you see what to stay away from and what to push forward on.
What are some of the other things that you're doing outside of school, the locker room, the weight room right now that you're just really into, that you enjoy, that are the ways that you balance such a high pressure role in Michigan?
So one thing, a big reason like why I wanted to come back is I felt like I didn't do enough in the community for the 3 years that I was here for. I was always like kind of about myself, and like thinking for myself. But now like I'm in a role of like where, I'm going to hospitals, I'm talking to kids, like making an impact on, like becoming young adults and people at a similar age to me. Like just like trying to be a mentor to people, putting on football camps, stuff like that, and like making a charity, stuff like that gives me joy, because that's my sole purpose in life. I'm not just a football player. Like, I'm first a man, and like I'm a man of the people. I want to give back to people and put people in roles that that they necessarily can't reach by themselves, and that they don't have the support or the mentors to help them get them in a certain place that they want to get to and achieve in life. So outside of football, that's what I love to do. Like, I don't like, of course you gotta get money, but like that gives me joy. It's not about money. It's not about putting it on social media and be like, hey, look at me, I'm doing all this. It's like doing the dirty work and like just saying like, I've done this. I've raised money to help people get into college. I raised $5,000 just the other day to help 5 people get into college, but without them, not even having the support to be able to do so. So it's just what I like to do outside of football.
I want to stay here on the charity topic for a second. I know that you and your team have been working to launch and give birth to this vision you've had in the philanthropic side of you, and the organization is going to be called Don Gives.
Don Gives, yes, sir.
share a little bit with our listeners about what this charity is going to be about.
All right, let me just tell you too. Let me give a shout out to my man Jason Williams, our athletic trainer. He came up with the name. I told him I was creating a charity. He was like, "Dog Gibbs." I said, "That's the one."
Jason Williams, my man.
Yeah, so I might, like on the whenever like we put, like our charity on, anything, it might be a little shout out to Jason Williams somewhere in there. It might be in like 2 font, you know what I'm saying, but it's gonna be on there. But the charity's mainly around like mentorship. It's around breast cancer and, raising awareness to cancer, mental health, and as well, like donating and giving support to those who aren't allowed or who don't have the funds or able to go to school, So education. Another thing that we're doing in the fall is we're going to go to schools and we're going to go to schools for teachers because teachers have to pay for their own school supplies. We're going to pay for teachers' school supplies. So, kind of.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you've had the environment around you to inspire you to do this.
Yeah.
And let me say, a second ago, you talked about the fact that for you.
You mind if I cut you off?
Please.
Put this in here too.
Yeah.
I couldn't be able to do my works without Morgan Bantz, a really great friend of mine, and a person who puts a lot of effort into helping me, and for her to see her works through me, just for me to do what I'm doing, I can't do it without her. So everything that I'm able to do, it's all because of my great friend Morgan Bantz. So shout out to her.
And let me reinforce that and add some more icing on the cake, because I think I said it at the front end of the show, and if I didn't, shout out to Morgan. We would not have been able to put this together.
No, we wouldn't.
Without Morgan and Chrissy. So thank you so much. I mean that. And super excited for your next chapter in life as well.
She's going to law school.
That's it.
She's going to do great.
Yeah, because she loves school, Donovan. She loves school.
If you say so.
Oh, man, don't worry. I went to college to just get through.
Exactly. You see?
I was like, my parents were so disappointed. My brothers were like straight A's all through college. And I was like, college is just a bridge to the rest of my life.
Exactly. See? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you were talking about that you don't do it for all the publicity and the media, and I know that about you, right? I already knew that about you, so that was wonderful. But I will say to you that you're such a presence. And people hold you in such a special place that your behavior inspires others to do more.
Appreciate it.
And that's why you have to share the story.
I have to,
Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, you're not putting it on blast to prop yourself up.
Right on.
And the people who know you in life, we know that.
Exactly.
But when you share your life story, you're getting the rest of us to say, damn, he's doing that.
That's right.
He's juggling school. He's juggling sports. He's juggling the demands and the pressures of being a good son, of being a good nephew, of respecting his family, of coming home enough, of, doing all the charitable stuff. And he's still finding time to start his own charity.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say, like, hey, man, you got to take the flowers when the flowers are there. And right now you got to take them, because when you do share your story, you're getting us all to step up a little. Fair?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I don't give myself flowers enough. I always look towards the next thing. It's like my football rings. I never put them on. I look forward to the next ones.
I'm about to put you through therapy right now. As a man who's been through a lot of therapy, but think about that, right? Like, the most meaningful conversation that you have every day outside of God is with yourself.
That's true. 100%.
And so, you have to treat yourself the way you treat the most important people in your life.
Yeah.
You have to.
No doubt.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's beautiful that you're going through that and you're thinking about those things. But man, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 46, I'm falling apart, I'm sore every morning. But man, in the morning, I'm telling myself I'm still freaking Batman.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I'm
right.
gonna get suited up and I'm gonna go and
Like
I'm
a
gonna go like a
4-year-old.
freight train.
Like a 4-year-old,
That's
huh?
right. You know that? You saw my sign, right? I'm running around like a 4-year-old in a Batman t-shirt, bro. You know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I mean I think it's exciting to watch you make these moves before you're even at the next level,
Yes, sir.
because what an incredible foundation you're setting for yourself.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
What-
My thing,
yeah,
I
please.
want to be able to like carry it to whatever team I go to too. You know, like be able to connect with the hospitals, connect
Yes.
with like people that are trying to be mentors or like teachers with school supplies, because all those things are near and dear to my heart. Pops was a teacher. And mom's had breast cancer, and she was a teacher as well. So the thing that I want to do now is I don't want it to ever die down. And some people just do it in college, like I did this in college. It's like, nah, bro, I'm trying to do this forever. You know what I'm saying? Make this for everything.
Yeah, that and you know what, I'm gonna tell you right now, because it would be a shame to not mention it. My man Desmond Clark, right there in the bottom left next to you, right,
Yeah.
the top tight end in the NFL. Played a decade for the Chicago Bears, finished number 2 behind the Mike Ditka for a bunch of the stats with the Bears. He lost his mother to breast cancer, one of 4 boys.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Desmond's one of my closest friends in life. And to hear that story play out again through your life, that really resonates and touches close to home.
No doubt.
And, just so much respect for your father and your family who wrapped around that very difficult moment.
Very much so.
Yeah. So tell me, we're thinking about this senior year. What are 1 or 2 things that are on the top of your mind that you're like, man, I want to make sure I do this before I finish at Michigan?
100%. Like how I said earlier, my top priority is just making others around me better, making them better than they could possibly ever be. It's not about me anymore at this point. I realize that as long as I put people in a position of power and I make them greater than what they ever thought that they could be, then I did my job. I don't care if I have a doink year, you know what I'm saying? Like, all I want for people is just to see the works that I've tried to do, community stuff, especially people that are around me every single day, the people in Schembechler Hall. I just want them to say that I was a great person, and I was a great leader. It's the only thing that matters to me. And as well, winning. You know what I'm saying? I want to win games. I want to walk out saying, like, I did things that other people weren't able to do. That's what I want to be able to do. I don't care about stats anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the Heisman Trophy, Doak Walker. Like, as long as I'm great today and I made today great, and I keep stacking those days, then those things will happen.
The days.
That's it.
So what does one of the top running backs in college football do today to keep himself in shape and get ready for his senior year?
So I train Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Then I usually hop in a hyperbarics chamber. Then we usually have a lift after that, do my lift. Rehab, maybe after or before, depends.
Yeah.
Then I eat my lunch. Well, I have breakfast, usually.
Yeah,
Let's
of
go
course.
back. You have breakfast around like 8 o'clock, 8:30, blah, 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 blah. Lifts. Then usually watch film. And then usually I'm done for the day after that. I'm either playing the game or watching my dog or walking my dog.
People talk about you just being a freak of nature in the side-to-side game, just your speed and agility is off the charts. Is there anything specific that you'd say, hey, man, I've been doing this one thing or these 2 things consistently since I was a kid. And anybody who wants to run with the rock at a high level has got to do this.
Well, let me just say that I'm about to break this receiving record for a running back in Michigan. Probably like 89 receiving yards away. So that's getting broken. I forgot who's number 1, but it's getting broke.
Good.
So that I'd say like being consistent and catching the ball and as well. Just always doing the small things on the football field. Always knowing who do I have in pass protection. Like what are the fronts? Knowing where the safeties are. To either split it or make somebody miss. It's just fine-tuning the game. So I think that I have a great obsession of the game to make me better.
Do you dream about it when you sleep?
No.
Yeah.
I visualize it, though. Now, I sleep peacefully. I don't think about football, but
that's it.
I usually visualize and usually prepare myself to for practice and for games. I visualize myself in games and circumstances and how my runs are going to be, and am I going to have patience or am I just going to run, stuff like that.
Is there anything specifically that you're doing consistently on the diet side, D, to stay on top of your game?
Yeah, so I just changed the way that I eat. So I went from 203-ish. It was 200, 203. So now I'm a solid 215. And my weight may vary today, you know what I'm saying, because we off and I've been a little, not lazy, but I'm getting back into it. I had to take a break. That spring ball was just mentally draining. You know what I'm saying? I was being locked in every single day, but I eat 3 meals a day, maybe 2 smoothies throughout the day, throughout lunch and dinner. So, yeah.
What's the ideal weight you want to try to play it in the fall?
215.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as I keep my speed and as long as I'm durable, I could take the carries. I'm not hurting or getting sore. Of course I'm gonna get sore, but as long as I'm not hurting after games, perfectly fine at 215. I've never played it before, so big difference.
Yeah. And have you been clocking the speed? How's that impacting?
I'm still there, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't lost a beat.
It's powerful.
I haven't lost it. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on
Thanks,
that, man.
man.
That's what most people lose, right? They lose half a step on that.
Yep. No, I have not.
Good for you. So fast forward, senior year, you do exactly what you said you would do. You're a great person, great teammate, great leader. You stack wins, stack days, stack moments. Everything goes well. Drafted into the league. Have you started thinking about that at all?
No, absolutely not.
Good for you.
Because then I'm losing focus of what's going on today, and I'll be darned if I, when it's going to happen. Because it's going to happen. I'll be darned if I, just didn't take advantage of the days today. Because ultimately, the way that I think is what I'm doing today is just setting me up for 5-10 years from now, and I'm just going to revert back to those same habits, maybe different habits. As I learn more. I'm just going to continue to the mindset of I'm getting better. Whatever adversity is coming my way, I'm rising from it because I've been through multiple adversities in every part of my life. So I'm not thinking about the draft. It'll happen.
What about life after football?
When I run, I want to see. That's the thing, right? So, like I said, my sole purpose of life is helping out others, giving back to others. But you got to get money too. So I want to be like an investor and like a real estate guy. So I mean that's not my pride and joy. My pride and joy is helping out others, and setting them up and getting them, better than I can ever be, right? But you need the money, so I want to be like an investor.
That's
stack my paper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Good for you, D. As we're coming up on time. Is there something else that our listeners don't know about that's a big part of who you are as a person off the field?
I guess the only message that I have is, just spread love to people. You know what I'm saying? Give unto others what you will want to be given to you. And in that case, it doesn't matter if somebody, if they didn't give you the love, as long as that you know that you were a good person, as long as you know that you didn't have any hate in your heart and you just let things go, then ultimately you're becoming a better person because hate's not the way, love's the way, and as long as the adults can bring the children up and as well as the children learning from the adults and as well adults learning from children as well, we can't just sit here and be like, I know it all, because we don't know it all. People know something different than we all do. Then as long as we continue to just learn and embrace and apply it, then this is going to be a great world, and we're going to be better people from it.
I love that you said that. I mean, such an inspiring message from a young man, incredibly talented. I mean, I think folks,
I'm legal too, so when I go to the winery and I try to get some wine, like you need my ID, here you go. It's right there for you.
Legal.
Yeah, just throw it down. That's right.
I love. Oh man, I've absolutely loved the time that we've had together, and I know we're gonna get more time in the future. But
absolutely,
I mean, such an inspiring conversation.
You need my ID? I'm in the horizontal club. You know what I'm saying? I'm not vertical. I'm horizontal now. You know what I'm saying? I'm horizontal.
So if folks know, he turned 21 on February 25th of this year.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
Is it 2-5?
That's
yeah,
right. That's right.
It 2-5.
That's right.
That's it. I'm on February baby too, man. No doubt. Incredible story, man. I loved it. I know we're gonna do it again, but I gotta just give you a ton of props on where your focus is right now.
Thank you.
And your focus is right in front of you, the work that you're about to do, standing on your business.
Yes, sir.
This next fall, man.
Absolutely.
And I got to tell you, like this year, of the 7 years I've lived in Michigan, this was the first year where I felt like it didn't matter what Michigan school you had an allegiance to. Mm-hmm. The entire state of Michigan was for Michigan football. And, man, what a gift it was to just be a small part in watching that story unfold this year. I know you're going to double down. I'm going to give a shout out to your man Mason and Will and Colston. Yep. I mean, those guys are monsters themselves in their positions.
100%.
Can't wait to bring their stories to life on the show. But, we're sending you nothing but love, blessings, and prayers for an incredible year. And I'm going to say this now. A ton of love to your mother, but man, just tremendous, tremendous respect to your dad.
Yes, sir.
And for everything that he represented in your life.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you, Manny.
Podcast family, thanks so much for listening. And thanks to our guest, DE, Donovan Edwards, the one and only number 7. You can connect with Donovan on Instagram and X at @DEdwards_. @DEdwards_. And hey, if you like what you heard today, be sure to follow, rate, and review At the Podium on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're getting your podcasts today. When you post about our show, hey, tag us, send us some love, and we're going to repost it to make sure we send you love and gratitude right back. Your support means everything to us. It tells us that we're doing a good job, if not a great job, getting great guests, great conversations, and great stories that we're sharing with the world. We'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Hey, share it with others. Help us grow the podcast family. And like always, thanks for being here with us in the Podium Lab. Dominate your day.